So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast with your host Neil Dunworth, and as always I am joined by Paddy Kelly from the Munster Line Supporters Club, and today we're coming to you to chat about we've actually got someone unbelievably famous here. We've got an international television star with us. I should have called him, instead of being Munster Line Supporters Club Presidente, he's just an international silver screen star, and I'm sure you're gonna see him on billboards and everything. But Paddy, you were on the fan wall for the Liverpool game at the weekend, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to forget that the game actually ever happened because you became famous.
Well, I'm not sure if anybody saw me because I haven't watched it back myself. It was kind of a strange setup that myself and my son are sitting at the kitchen table with our big Munster flag behind us, Munster Lions flag. And you get a split screen. One is the match and the commentary, and the other one is the two of us sitting there. Unfortunately, you had to listen to Jim Beglin as well for the rest of the match, which was awful.
Nasty. How many times did he say about magical nights and European nights in Anfield? How many times did he mention
It was just a Liverpool movie, which I'm sure Sky Sports was as well, in fairness. But
yeah, when it was Carragher and Sky Sports.
I must look back the match and see if we... somebody said they saw us on the billboards, because apparently you go on the billboards around the pitch at certain stages, so we'll go back and have a look. But obviously there was no reason for celebrations or very few near misses that they would have cut to the fans' reaction. So unfortunately we didn't have too much to cheer about. On the plus side, I managed to take a break from the fan wall at half time and sell my car. So that was a good thing to come out of it.
Yeah, there you go.
Surreal experience. You're sitting there on the fan wall counting the money from the car.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I meant to ask you about it. I would have. Yeah, how much was it going? Am I joking?
All a part of a day in the life of being a Villa fan, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. Jesus, could you imagine if you were a player and I was saying, "Sorry, Dean, I know you've got a real important halftime team talk, but I'm just flogging the car outside. Some fellas after making me an offer in Dundee. He's waiting out in the car park. I'll be back in a second." Yeah, that'd be something. That'd be some turn up for the books. But yeah, we did play Liverpool at the weekend, and as you say, maybe there wasn't too many times for optimism. Well, there was times for optimism. I was very optimistic up until the 71st minute, but there wasn't too many times that we could celebrate or cheer, even though we did play an awful lot better. The overall kind of overarching feeling was it was probably going to come at some stage that they were going to score, and could we kind of kick into gear and then come back and rescue something from the fire, and we just couldn't. I don't really even count the Curtis Jones goal at the end, because it was just one of those tired goals from the young lad. And look, he had to, like, it's just one of those things that happens for Aston Villa, against Aston Villa, should I say. Bring on a young fella, the commentators talk him up until basically his eyeballs start to bleed, and then he just pings one in the back of the net. It just always happens. It's a surprise that your man Williams didn't actually score, and he was only on for like 84 seconds or something like that. Surprised he didn't bag a hat trick the way they spoke about him as well. But what can you do as well? Tactically, I think the Dean Smith got it right tactically. Personnel wise, I don't think I'll ever be in favour of the two wingers. I just don't think I will be. El Ghazi, I thought, was much improved, especially his positioning and his kind of want. But then again, he seems to do this for the big games. He seems to want to be there. And then when he's got an opportunity to score goals against the lesser teams, he just turns his nose up at it. He's funny fish.
Yeah. You got to look at the fact that he obviously dropped Nyland because of his confidence yet these two guys are still in there. I don't think we had anything to lose by playing Hotta and Vasilev, for example, or even Hotta and Connor, because Connor would have done a whole pile more than any of the others.
I can understand why he played them solely from the point of view of at least El Ghazi, that he's a powerful runner and he was going to be there in the counter attack. I can see why he did that, and that's why Davis was there, because Davis is going to hold the ball up better. And once again, I'm coming away and I'm looking at Keenan Davis and I'm saying, man, there is a player in there somewhere. There absolutely is, and he gave Virgil van Dijk a lot that he could handle from a strength point of view. But like, you just know he's not going to score a goal. That's almost a given. But that's probably why he played the two guys there, that if we were going to have some sort of an attack, it would be on the counter. And I think we did that well. I think our tactics were pretty good from that point of view. And I thought positionally, as I mentioned, El Ghazi was pretty good. Trezeguet was had a couple of lapses, if not more than a couple of lapses, just in tracking his man and so on. I thought El Ghazi was functional. Surprised that he was taken off first over the two. And like, these are things that I don't say that often, or I haven't said that often. But I even tweeted out at one stage, I said, please, somebody bookmark this, because I need reminding that I actually said it, but El Ghazi took up a really good defensive position for a cross. I think I tweeted out at one stage. But I thought he did okay. I really did. But Trezeguet, bar maybe one or two decent clearances, he's just ineffectual, just doesn't do much. Can't get in the ball.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, we did well up to 71 minutes. I'd say we did well up to 60 minutes, because those three substitutions really put us on the back foot.
Yeah.
And it's, again, there is absolutely no way in hell that Jurgen Klopp would have brought on three players at that stage of the game if he didn't have five to use. It's the most one-sided rule I've ever come across in my life. And it changed the whole perspective.
Again.
They were just, again, as it did against Chelsea. They were pedestrian up until then, while they were obviously the dominant team. They weren't getting out of second gear at that stage. And those three guys just, Firmino on his own, running around like a Duracell bunny, and Wijnaldum is just a class act as well. So
I said to you there just before we actually turn on the podcast that the amount of passes that the highest number of passes that were made by an Aston Villa player was by Konsa, 42 passes. Jordan Henderson comes on and plays 41 passes.
Yeah, in a half an hour.
In 29 minutes,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's this is what kind of gets me going about the whole, well, Dean Smith's tactics were shit. Dean Smith should, he lost that game for us. You still see a lot of that out there, and I'm incredulous as to why that is thrown out. It's like, well, why didn't Dean Smith make his subs earlier? Because there was nothing broken. And then people talk about fresh legs. Like, realistically, are you, like, you bring on Henry Lansbury, Nakamba, do you make three substitutions like that? Bring on Lansbury, Nakamba, and Conor Horan, and bring off Douglas Luiz, John McGinn, and someone else. Like if you're to make like for like substitutions like they did, it just
we don't have the bodies to do that.
Have the bodies to do that.
He's got to sit tight for the few minutes when they come on, see what way they change their lineup and change their impetus, and then he acts. But by that stage, we're gone 1-0 down. I wouldn't blame him for that.
Absolutely,
to be honest,
not. And that goal that Mane scored, you can't, once again, think back to Christian Pulisic. You cannot legislate for a man kicking the ball in such a haphazard way as Mane did, going in off the crossbar. I don't give a shit who you are. That's twice that's happened. They are freak goals. That is not a good goal. It's a freak goal. The best part about that goal was Naby Keita's ball across the box was bloody excellent. And I tweeted out today about the true view, which I never knew about before, but it's fantastic. It gives a view as he passed the ball of what he could see. And to be honest with you, El Ghazi was in decent position. The guy Courtney House had probably stepped too far in front of Firmino. It did drag Mings over. Yes, Neil Taylor was behind Mane, but the distance the ball had to travel through that amount of people, it was through the Ivan Needle stuff. It really was. I don't really blame Taylor. I don't really blame Mings. I just think it was a fabulous ball. But then Mane just swings a hoof at it and it goes in off the crossbar, and you're going, my God, if that happens at Villa, it's like what is it, Ronnie Rosenthal all over again. It hits the crossbar.
Yeah, we can't buy that
yards.
Look.
Not at all.
Liverpool,
no way.
It's the underside of the bar and goes in. Trezeguet had a chance like Pulisic last week.
Yeah,
it goes high and wide. If we'd have had that chance, it would have hit the bar and came back out. And
absolutely.
That's just the way it is when you're at the bottom. You need to create your own luck. We're just gonna have to create our own work with hard work. I disagree with what you said about Neil Taylor. As a former left back myself, I think he was caught out for both goals. I thought he was just too flat-footed.
I can see.
I'm being harsh. I know I'm being harsh. But would Target have done any different? Maybe not.
I normally would be down on Taylor for something like that, but where Mane came from, he came straight through the middle. He came literally, he just ghosted his. So he picked up the ball on the halfway line and he played it out to the left, and it worked its way down the left, and he just basically ghosted his way into the box from a central position. So that's why I'm kind of more on the side of why is Mings getting so tight to Courtney House and leaving that big open space? Maybe Taylor should be in a small bit further, but how far in does he come? Does he tuck in? And for me, Tyrone Mings was kind of caught thinking that the ball was going to go in front.
I just thought that Taylor could see the danger and he didn't act.
Yeah.
And obviously Mings is back to it, so he didn't see it.
Much and all as
they're probably both equally to blame that they got.
And we're probably letting Douglas Luiz away with murder there as well, because he's standing on the D of the box when Mane picks up the ball, and I know that he probably wasn't supposed to track Mane, but somebody had to track him somewhere from midfield, and he came from midfield. So, there's it's just one. But like Naby Keita couldn't kick a ball. He couldn't do anything right. I thought he was actually willfully poor before that point, and he just plays a super balling. Like that's like they get cut out more often than not, and they go for a throw. But look, they're the best team in the world, best team on the planet at this moment in time, and we did pretty well against them. And I know we've a moral victory, and we're coming out of there with 2 goals lost. But
yeah, well, unfortunately, moral victory is no good to us now.
It's not.
We probably had a moral victory in December or November or whatever it was when we were 1-0 up on 90 minutes against them. I thought we were excellent that day and worked very hard. And then once again, lapse of concentration, and it's 2-1 to them. So, there's very little comfort we can take out of this game, other than we contained them for 60 minutes and then they ran riot once they brought on the 3 fresh legs on the hour. For us, we can't compete off the bench with what Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, who else have we got? Arsenal, maybe to a lesser extent. We'll be on a par with the other teams we got left to play. But it does change a game. I think it's a ridiculous rule. There was very little thought put into it. I don't know whether it was objected against by teams of our end of the table. I'm sure it was. When you see teams putting out benches that aren't full, you know that there's an issue there to be addressed. But look, we're in the middle of a pandemic. What can you say? They wanted football back, but it's at the detriment of us because we can't compete with that.
Yeah. As you said, my dog doesn't agree with it either. He's the same. He hates that five sub rule as much as we do. But you know what? Do you know what he hates even more than that 5 sub rule? Is Graham Souness. What a spanner of a man. Like, literally, talk about out of touch. Talk about hanging around with Eamon Dunphy too long on RTE and just basically what he did was insert flair player here, call him shit and say he'd love to mark him. Dunphy, you look back at Dunphy 10 years ago, he was doing that about Ronaldo. He called Ronaldo a foot, said he'd never amount to anything as a player, and just basically was being controversial for the sake of it. And Souness is a moody old bollocks, is what he is. He's no clue, just out of touch, failed manager. He can go fuck off as far as I'm concerned. No, job done.
Don't sit in the fence there, Neil, will you? Oh, well, he's a failed manager. He's not a master tactician. This is the guy who demolished that great Liverpool team, and a guy that, what was your man's name? Ali Dye, that he brought on for Southampton, who was George Weah's cousin. So
allegedly,
yeah, he's one to talk about tactics and how people are lined up and what players are doing. He's a bloody disgrace. Him and Roy Keane, failed managers, failed assistant managers, no clue tactically about the game, and there they are sitting up there taking a nice fat paycheck off Sky Sports to talk a load of drivel, just to upset the likes of me and you, because that's all it was, and that's all he wanted, I'm sure.
And I loved how Jack Grealish came back and said, "Hey, can't please anyone." And do you know what? I'm absolutely astounded that someone like the Daily Mail didn't say Grealish bites back at Souness, blah 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 blah. And essentially, he couldn't have said anything more passive, But that's the world we live in. If you're an absolute crooked, cranky prick, you're going to be lauded by certain parts of the world at the moment. And if you're a nice guy, people will find reasons to cut your legs out from under you and bring you down a peg or two. But look, hey, that's the world we live in, and you and me aren't going to change it today. But just couldn't let Souness away with his absolute drivel. Pre-match drivel, and he's nothing else to say. I'd take 10 years of listening to Jim Beglin than 5 minutes of listening to that crap at the start of a game. Especially for Sky Sports actually have a lot to answer for. They had a studio, a commentary team, all heavily laden with Liverpool. And yes, it was Liverpool's first game in Anfield since they won the trophy. But come on, there's an objective. Like, you pay 40 quid a month or whatever for Sky Sports, and you get the same faces, the same people talking the same shit, licking the same arses all week in, week out. And BT are no much better. Like, Rio Ferdinand can't string a sentence together. He's another guy that is. Look, fantastic guy for what he does off the field. Punditry, not 100% sure it's his game. But anyway, sure, they're saying the same things about us. They probably need subtitles to hear to understand.
Look, we're only two guys giving our opinion. We're not claiming to be experts in any way.
And when we're getting paid a wage to do it, people can take shots at us all they want.
They can take shots all they want anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when you put yourself in that situation, if you're going to talk shite, you've got to be put back in your box. And I thought, fair play to Jack. He didn't take the piss. He just dealt with the facts and went, there you go.
Exactly.
No more to say. I can't please everyone, as he says.
Exactly. He can't please everyone. And we well know that. I brought up Rio Ferdinand because I think we're probably going to see it on Thursday night. Maybe Roy Keane, maybe Rio Ferdinand. I don't even know why. Is it on BT or is it on Sky? I don't know what it's on, but either way, if it's on Sky, we're going to see Roy Keane, Gary Neville. I doubt we're going to see much of a Villa presence there. If it's on BT, we're going to see Rio Ferdinand, and we're going to have the same crack again. United are in a good run of form, and we're going to transition over towards a preview of that game. They're in a good run of form. They've won 5-2 against probably the worst team on show in the Premier League at the moment in Brighton, but a team that took 6 points off us earlier on in the year. Positives from that are the fact that Brighton scored 2 goals. Bournemouth scored 2 goals. But negatives, that Man United look like they're clicking. Bruno Fernandes, Pogba, Mason Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, Matic, they all look like they're clicking at the moment, and they seem to be able to rotate in their fullbacks and still get a tune out of that team. And fair play to Ole, he seems to have taken of all the teams, he seems to have done the most work and the best work in the 100-day layoff. But it's coming thick and fast on Thursday, and we're depending on what happens tomorrow night between Watford and Norwich, we could be very much under the cosh. Yeah.
I can't wait to get Thursday out of the way now at this stage. That's the way I feel about it. For the simple reason of like the year I left school was the last time we beat Man U at Villa Park. So
Was I alive?
do you remember the great? You were alive, yeah. Thanks very much. You were 10. So
1990, 1994, wasn't it? 95. You never won
95,
anything
yeah.
with kids.
That's the one. And that's the last time we beat them at Villa Park in the Premier League. So it's been a long, long wait. We've had a couple. Remember Makeda breaking our hearts?
Yeah.
It's I can't see us getting anything out of it. As much as I want to be positive, this is the best Man U I've seen play in years. Had my doubts about a lot of them. But then again, they're there to be got at. When Bournemouth are scoring 2 goals, there's a soft centre there. The goal that they conceded escapes me. It was Stanislas got in along the end line.
Yeah.
Took it through Maguire's legs and then beat De Gea at the near post. So, like, I mean, I'd be shooting on sight because his confidence is probably the lowest of anyone on the pitch. But they can be got at, but I'm not holding out much hope on this one. And I don't mean to be negative. I just can't see where the goals are going to come from.
We will beat Man United. I have no basis on the fact, but if we're 13-1 like we were against Liverpool, you can be goddamn sure I'm going to put a tenner on it every single time because I'm going to be right at one stage, and surely we're going to beat a team. We're going to win 1 in 13, and I know that there's people probably screaming at the whatever device they're using to watch to listen to this on. They're saying that we'll probably because the air of between the fans out there is despondence at the moment, which I can't understand. Actually, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent, as is my way. It's my podcast. I'm allowed to do it. I'm going to come out and say it. I've said it on Twitter a couple of times over the last week. The fucking self-loathing and hating, almost downright hating of the of people and of people within the club and the club itself when things aren't going right, blows my fucking mind. And the reason it does is because realistically, I'm going to wake up in the morning if Villa get relegated. Yes, I will be unbelievable. I'll be in bad form. I'll be like a thorn afterwards. No one will want to be around me. That's because that's the nature of fandom. But I can guarantee you when September rolls around again, I will be absolutely buzzing regardless of what league we're in. And I'm going to say it. It doesn't really matter at the greater scale of things. We could be like Bury. We could be a gone club, a forgotten about club, a historic club that was just wound up because of money. But as long as Aston Villa is there in the morning for us to celebrate, us to follow, whether it's in League 2, League 1, Championship, LDV vans, bring back whatever, if they move over here and playing the League of Ireland, it doesn't matter. That's the big thing, Aston Villa. The bonus is being in the Premier League, because realistically, when you look at it, whether we finish 17th or not, we're not going to be playing in Europe anytime soon unless we win a cup until we build. So let's build correctly and let's be ready for the ups and downs. But anyway, that's beyond. I just had to get it off my chest.
No, you are right, of course.
There's not enough in 240 characters to get that off my chest on Twitter.
Some of the stuff is beyond belief. You just shake your head and go, what is wrong with people? People I know who are ordinarily really good guys, they just lost the plot. You know, if you're pissed off after a match, chances are that's not the time you should be posting it on social media, you know.
Put down the phone and enjoy the rest
I know
of the evening.
I know I've done it myself in the past but you've got to learn that that's not the time to be dropping the bombs and calling out players and, you know,
and where
bringing their wives into it and stuff. Ridiculous stuff. Like.
Yeah, and the whole, like, Jack Grealish's head is turned. Like, that was... I don't even know where to begin with that one.
That's a lot of shite as well. I had a conversation yesterday with a guy, and I said to him, I said, with the exception of Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne, they're the only two players I can put my hand in my heart and say has come back stronger since lockdown.
Yeah.
We're technically still in pre-season. We would be still in pre-season if we were having a restart. You know, these would be pre-season matches. We'd have had 6-7 weeks of training and prevent friendly games before we play the game. It's hard just to turn on again, regardless of what anyone says. I've seen loads of people over the years come back for pre-season training and thinking, Jesus, what the fuck has this fella been doing for 6 weeks? He can't even put one foot in front of the other. So I'm not making excuses, but I honestly, other than Bruno Fernandes has been outstanding, and he's really driven on Man United, as has Kevin De Bruyne. He's been absolutely unbelievable and unplayable. But you can't expect everybody to do it. It's just not going to be the way. There's players that have gone missing since lockdown that, you know, would rather be on holidays than where they are, and, you know, contracts are running out and stuff like that. So we're doing all right. We're nearly there. I just want to get Thursday out of the way. If we get something out of it, it's a bonus. And I think we really got to look forward to Sunday, because for me, that's when we're going to see whether we're good enough to get out of this. And the only way we're going to be good enough to get out of this is by beating Palace, beating Everton, getting something out of Arsenal, and beating West Ham. We don't have to win them all. I think 2 wins might be enough. But we're going to have to pick up wins from Sunday onwards. I'm not you've already sensed I'm not optimistic, but that's just, what are we looking at now? 25 years of hurt, not winning against Man U at Villa Park. So I just can't see with what we have, barring Fernandes, Rashford, Greenwood and Martial, maybe getting a food bug or a food poisoning before then. I can't see how we're going to contain them. Although we did pretty well at the weekend, but then again, they bring on 3 substitutions, and you're looking at Juan Mata, Igalo, James. You know, that's going to change the game as well.
Absolutely.
If they happen to be stale on the day, as Liverpool were, bring on 3 fresh legs and change the game, and still have the luxury of having 2 subs sitting there waiting to come on if anything happens late in the game.
Like,
but
what way do you set up, do you think?
I think they play the same. I think I don't see any changes from what we did at the weekend, because I think you'll see as a success. You know,
Which it was.
As much as losing 2-0 to Liverpool can be a success, we didn't play particularly bad. We created opportunities. I honestly can't see any changes. There are changes I'd like to make, obviously. I just don't see where goals are going to come from. And because I don't see where goals are going to come from, I'd have Connor in there. I'd probably have Samata in there. So at whose expense that's going to be, probably take out the 2 wingers, put Connor where Jack is, and put Jack out on the left, and see what we can get out of this. It's going to be a strange one. So
interesting,
you know,
because I agree. And I agree with taking out the 2 wingers, not because I'm vindictive, but I think we play more or less the same setup. But this is where we go between wide midfielders and wingers. And I think Hata gets a run. I don't think that if James doesn't start, I don't think that from a pace point of view he would absolutely be burned by any of them. I think we might even see somebody like Mohamedi or Gilbert come in there at right wing maybe instead of Hata, but I think Connor will start to the left. Yeah. And I think Jack plays through the centre again. I'm okay with Keenan Davis playing up front, but I think that you just don't know where the goals are coming from. You really don't. You really, really don't have a clue where the goals are coming from in this game. And I would be happy if we shut up shop, playing at Villa Park, got a draw, and make sure that we stay, regardless of what happens, we stay within 1 win of Watford.
Well, I think tomorrow's results are going to dictate completely what he does on Thursday.
Yeah, I think he'll have to.
If you look at Watford, if they get a win tomorrow, he's going to have to go for it on Thursday, whether he likes it or not. Just going back to what you said there, if Gilbert is fit, he could possibly bomb out Neil Taylor and move Courtney Hawes to left back, which he has done many times in the past.
I think Courtney Hawes has been
that would be my
success.
other change. Yeah.
I think he's been a success since the restart. I think he's been the more assured defender than Tyrone Mings. Well,
He has. Yeah.
that's look. He's Courtney Hawes has I like if you were to ask me which one of them was knocking at the door for England, like since the restart, it's much of a muchness for me. Look, I do prefer Tyrone Mings. I'm not here just saying that not here hating on Tyrone Mings, but
Yeah.
look, his positional sense has been poor-ish since we've returned, but people just like to anoint him and they like to shit on Courtney Hawes because that's what was done before the restart. But you got to see everything objectively, just like Douglas Luiz. First game after the restart, we were here crowing and saying, "Listen, Douglas Luiz was absolutely fantastic. He was brilliant
Yeah.
today." And now
And we probably
everybody's
wouldn't have
realizing,
picked him in our team.
no, but now everybody's realizing Douglas Luiz is good.
Yeah.
It's one of these things that like sometimes it takes certain people the slightest thing, they do the slightest thing, and they're in the doghouse. Other people, it takes them ages to get out of that doghouse. Other people, they can do no wrong, and they're beyond reproach. And that's a wrong way to look at a football game. It's a wrong way to look at a team because what happens is forming sides when you both support the same team is completely pointless. Everybody can see it a different way and see different viewpoints, and that's why it all comes back to if we get relegated, we do. But slating people that play for the team or play for the club, it's born out of frustration and emotion, and that's fine too. But man, it's that gets me more than the team being relegated is seeing in-house fighting and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
once again, I keep going back to that. And I'm sorry, but the United game I think is going to be an opportunity for us to maybe shuffle the deck, shuffle the pack. Do we finally see Louis Barry? Is the question on everybody's lips.
I think I'm resigned at this stage that that's not going to happen. He's obviously not ready. I think if he was ready, he'd be in there already.
Wouldn't it be great to Federico Macheda with them back for a change? That would be
Wouldn't it
fantastic.
just?
That would be fantastic to bring him
And
in.
maybe that's Indiana Vassilev that'll do that for us. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's going to be interesting. I actually can't even hazard. The only kind of thing I can go on and say is he's going to try and play the same tactic as he did the last time, same tactics, which I'm okay with to a great degree. I just want to see kind of what the personnel are going to be. I want to see what kind of the motivational factors are. I think Trezeguet won't play. I don't think that he has any basis to start Trezeguet. I'm okay with him starting El Ghazi if the El Ghazi shows up against Man United. It showed up against Liverpool. I'm okay with starting Reina. I think the big thing they need to do with this team, and you've seen it with both Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire hasn't had a very good couple of weeks. He's been pretty poor, and you know how much I like to play a ball in between the down the kind of the channel between the fullback, and the centre half. And I think this is where we're going to catch Harry Maguire. Jack running at him in that form that we had from the centre, getting him twisted and turned. But we're going to need a confident striker that can move in between the shoulders. The Samata that played against Spurs before lockdown hasn't showed up again, and he was absolutely imperious that day. He was brilliant, and I know we lost, but he ran in and around players. He was doing figure of eights in and amongst the centre halves. They didn't know what angle he was attacking from, where he was coming from. He hasn't had the opportunity to do that so far. Well, he has had the opportunity, he just hasn't done it, and I'm ready to see that again. And that is our only real hope. Sliding the ball in there. Liverpool are masters at this as well. You notice that some players like Salah, and they have him there, and if somebody is bringing the ball up to the box and they can't go wide, you'll often notice that they'll play this little weighted pass to within maybe about 2 yards of the touchline, of the end line, and it'll be almost favour the centre half, or you'll think. And then Salah or somebody will come at it and try and get in front, get a little touch to it and go down for a penalty. Villa have no cuteness like that. We never have. We've never been a team that's been that way inclined. See Salah's ridiculous dive? When was the last time we've seen a ridiculous dive from a Villa player? I'm okay with this at the moment.
Ashley Young, maybe.
Yes, I'm okay with players walking the ball around inside the box and hitting the floor like a ton of bricks to get a penalty, because we're going to need a penalty at the weekend or something like that, or on Thursday night to get a win. We're going to need a penalty somewhere. little things like that. Like Jack can play that lovely weighted ball, but what happens is when we're playing that lovely weighted ball, we're playing it outside the box because usually it's the target, or it's actually just usually it's target because it's never on the right hand side that we play that ball. But
True.
if we've someone like Samata that can maybe nick in front of a centre half, get a small bit of contact and go down and win a penalty, we're not even playing like that in the final third. And Liverpool gave an exhibition of it because they did it 3 or 4 times. They played a ball. The goalkeeper was never coming out for it. It was up to the centre half to turn around and try and clear it from maybe 2 yards out from the end line within the box. And you could see that whether it was Mane, whether it was Origi, whether it was Salah, they were making a beeline to try and just get in around that centre half to try and get in front of him and go down. And there's no goal can be scored from that situation, but penalties are given, and Liverpool have gotten their fair share of them. Little cuteness like that.
Yeah. Well, we need to get anything out of this. We're going to need to score. So there's no doubting that there's a lot of firepower there that we have to deal with, like those 4: Greenwood, Fernandes, Rashford, Martial, all scored the weekend. It's just going to, like Pogba and Matic have been outstanding as well. It's not just Bruno Fernandes, but we stopped Bruno Fernandes, we stopped the ball going through to the others, from that angle. So I'd imagine that's probably a job for, who knows, maybe you could put Nakamba in then to do that job. You just don't know. So
realistically speaking, if you're going like starting a striker is proving pretty useless for us at the moment. Play Jack in the false 9, bring in another defensive midfielder. Hey.
Stifle them and hope for 0-0 or catch them on the break.
As Dean Smith said, what's the goal? What's the game plan? To concede none and score 1. That's football, everyone. That's football.
Yeah.
You know. It's going to be a tough one on Thursday, and then obviously we're going to have Sunday again then against Palace.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah, which is one that much going to be looking forward to against Palace. That's going to be our miracle.
Well, depending on what happens Thursday, I think we're looking at the Crystal Palace game and
it's
every
going to be our game.
Subsequent game after that being the most important game we ever played. That's the long and the short of it. We've got to get the points from somewhere, and that you got, like Palace and Everton, nothing to play for. We just got to go for it. You just got to grab the ball and go for it. There's no two ways of looking at it. But that's not a job for Thursday night. Can't. There's too much at stake from Man United. They're still in a chance of Champions League football. So we can't take the game to them, but they'll take it to us without a shadow of a doubt. So we just got to hope that we can contain them, maybe hit them on the break. But as I said many times, I can't see it happening.
Here's to a draw against Manchester United. Get out of there, live to fight another day.
Snap your hands off for a draw.
Live to fight another day.
We got to look at these. We're in the middle of 2 fixtures here that we weren't expecting to get anything out of.
Yeah.
So if we get a point at this one, I'd be happy. Obviously, I'd love a win because these fuckers have annoyed me for the last 25 years.
You said it.
Since the world thinks football began, I suppose.
Yeah, 92 when football began. But look, I'm still optimistic. I still think we can get out of the quagmire that's here. But to be honest with you, whatever about Thursday night, Tuesday night, Watford and Norwich is
a big game.
I'm going to be glued to. And
a result, anytime a result for Norwich brings them back into the equation as well. So it's a huge.
They just
game.
have to pay too many people around them. I think for Norwich, and hey, he isn't even starting Todd Cantwell. But
he obviously think he had, and he scored a great goal, didn't he? Was it the weekend or the week before? Jeez, there's that many games now. I've lost track.
Yeah,
he scored. It's a good Man U, was it?
Could have been.
Was that the FA Cup game? It was the FA Cup game. He scored a smashing goal. I like him, but again, he hasn't featured. They haven't won it. They can't buy a win either.
No. No.
You know,
If they can get a draw out of Watford, that would be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
yeah,
We draw again,
but
like anything that keeps us 3 points or less from
yeah,
Watford
but
is the
then they
result.
play West Ham on Sunday, Saturday,
Who, Watford or Norwich?
Norwich.
That's fine.
So
West Ham are out of this. You know, West Ham are
yeah,
out. You know, I
I think that could be those two games. They're looking at those two games like we're looking at Palace and Everton. So they're thinking, we could turn over Norwich, Watford and West Ham.
it would be one of the greatest escapes if they were to get out of it.
For
Considering
sure.
that they're 9,
There's
10
people saying
goals
that about us
different.
now as well, aren't they? Yeah.
We're 1 point that yeah,
we're
I don't
still,
know.
once you're still in touching distance, I think once you get 2 games out of touching distance, then you're in trouble.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I think
which
so.
could very well be the case before we play Palace on Sunday, and that's the worrying part.
Yeah.
So it would be nice if we could turn over Man U. I can't see it. I'm like a broken record here now at this stage.
But we are
But
due that win from left field as well, and that's my broken record pieces. We're due that. We haven't had one this year. This year where we've been we've not been expected, and most teams have that. You know.
Yeah.
But
Now, don't get me wrong. If you said to me you could only win against Man U or Crystal Palace, I'd take the Man U.
Oh yeah. And that leads me to my next question, Paddy. There wasn't one Liverpool fan that slagged me over Liverpool beating Aston Villa. But I can guarantee you if United beat Villa 1-0, I'll have 40 text messages on my phone. And there's me going, yeah, fair play to you. Absolutely fair. What do you expect me to say? Bow down at your feet? No, you're
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. They would have. What's his name? Wasn't so thoughtful either, was he? Mane. He says he hope we stay up because he'll score against us twice again, 2 games again next season.
Yeah.
He didn't go to the same school as his boss, who was a bit more diplomatic.
Yeah.
But look, it's going to be 2 tough games no matter what way we look at it. But I'd love to see us beat Man U. I really would.
Yeah. Well, look, hope springs eternal, isn't that what they say? And if you're a Villa fan, you always have to have hope. And I think that's what we're missing a lot of the times at the moment. And that's why people get their knickers in a twist over losses. We've got to have hope. We're going into this game against Man United. Look, it's 11 against 11. If it goes in off the side of someone's face, if it goes in off somebody's arse, if it hits a beach ball and goes in, a la that beach ball goal from Darren Bent, Sunderland and Liverpool last year, we don't care as long as it goes in. My money's on it. Villa penalty, both teams to score, Villa to win, and Villa to get a penalty in the game and score it. So if anybody wants to put their kids through college, that's a nice little bet for you there. I'd imagine you get about 25-1 easy on that bet. But that's going to do it for today.
Just keep your money in your pocket.
Well, put it this way, now that we can't really go to the pubs to watch games, I'd be saying if I put a tenner of a bet on, I'd spend a hell of a lot more than a tenner if I went down to the pub to watch the match. So that's my speculate to accumulate, Paddy. That's what you got to do. You got to speculate to accumulate. And why better? I'm buying high and I'll be selling low when Villa win. But it's nearly 11 o'clock at night here. That's going to do it for this evening. Keep the faith, guys. As I say, they're coming thick and fast. Tuesday is one for us to look at. Watford and Norwich. Then we're on to Thursday when we have our own, when we can affect our own game against Manchester United. Fingers, toes, legs crossed. Pray to whatever God or whatever mythical figure, if there's a mythical figure that you believe in. Pray to your whatever God you believe in. And listen, we will come out of this with the help of everybody's positivity. I hope. So thanks very much, Paddy, again for popping on the podcast. You can find Paddy on @VillaPaddy on Twitter. You can find the podcast here on @Mac for the love of. As I say, please, any retweets, any likes, any subscriptions to the podcast, we'd really, really appreciate them. If you want to leave us any written reviews on iTunes, if that's where you listen to the podcast, we'd really appreciate that. pushes us upwards in the algorithm, which is which does us a bit of a favor as well and gets us more listens to. So anything you can do to help out would be absolutely fantastic. Here's to a big weekend in the future of Aston Villa Football Club. Hopefully we come out the other side of it smiling, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.